Hi there, welcome to my presentation about the science of reading. In this presentation, we will define what the science of reading is and how it compares to other definitions of what reading is. We will also look at some ways that you can implement literacy strategies in your own classroom regardless of your content area. So we have to begin by defining the science of reading. According to the NWEA, the science of reading is the converging evidence of what matters and what works in literacy instruction, organized around models that describe how and why, which is just kind of a long way of saying that we take the pedagogically informed approach that we as teachers are used to seeing and learning about, and it is now informed with some other disciplines. So the traditional view of reading is that reading comprehension equals decoding and language comprehension. So in other words, this is the simple view of reading, and it is true. And so all the things that go into this, we say that students need explicit instruction in phonological awareness, phonics, and word recognition, fluency, vocabulary and oral comprehension, and then also text comprehension. And so when you think of literacy, these tend to be the things that you probably kind of pop into your head. And all of that is true. And we look at it as this rope, this reading rope that Scarborough kind of defined for us. So you can see there's the two strands of word recognition and language comprehension, followed with all of their kind of parts and pieces that make those skills up. And when they are tightly kind of working together and we see students being increasingly strategic and increasingly automatic in their reading skills, then we say, okay, they are a skilled reader. And again, this is all true. But the science of reading is going to take it one step further. And the science of reading is going to say that this pedagogically informed approach, the reading rope, is not quite enough to get students to a place of true literacy. So science of reading says that reading instruction should be informed pedagogically, but it should also be informed from a psychological, linguistic, and neuroscientific standpoint. So we're taking into account how the brains learn and how memory works, linguistic knowledge and how that works in students' internal grammars, and then also literally the brain structure and how it functions, how that can inform our literacy instruction. And what we say is, okay, we have our reading rope, we have all those skills, and we take what students need to learn, how they learn, and what happens when they are taught in those research backways. And that is how we are going to get students to a place of literacy. So it is taking what we typically think of as being literacy and adding on to it. And what comes up when we start talking about literacy and helping students become more literate is people say, okay, but I'm not a language arts teacher, so isn't that language arts' job? Yes, and it's yours. So especially at a secondary level here in our middle school, literacy becomes everybody's problem. Partly because what it means to be literate in language arts is not the same as what it means to be literate in your content area. And when we are all strategic and we're all implementing these strategies, then every student improves across the board is the ideal. So some simple things that you can do include making literacy visible in your room. That can be the types of text that you provide, making sure that they are relevant and engaging and showcasing different characters that students might connect to or not have heard of before. And then also don't be afraid to incorporate images and audio as opposed to just written texts. So in your content area, you are probably going to want to focus more on vocabulary, oral comprehension, and then text comprehension. So we're going to look at a few quick lesson ideas that you can use in your content area to develop vocabulary skills in this lesson, which if you want to click into it for all of these, you can see more detail. But students will practice using their context clues to define a nonsense word. So you'll give them a passage that has a nonsense word, and then they have to work together, identify those context clues, and try and create a definition for it. To support morpheme recognition, we are going to have students look at a common root or prefix or suffix from your content area. And this is going to help them prepare for a unit or for the year where they're previewing their textbooks or materials and they're looking for examples of where that root is used, where that morpheme is used, so that they can start recognizing how that connects to language. And then in our final lesson plan for text comprehension, this one is focused on inferencing, which is a very transferable skill. And students are going to practice making inferences based on images. And so they're going to support their inferences about those images using evidence. And that is going to be a kind of discussion for them. If you would like additional information about the science of reading, I have some additional resources linked. I hope that you find this helpful and that it makes a difference in your classroom for your students. Thank you.